Hello everyone, and I wanted to do this live real quick and talking about the higher self's wisdom. And what my higher self wanted me to talk about is the understanding that the higher self kind of pushes us out of our comfort zone. It pushes us to be better than what we assume ourselves to be, but also it allows us to have faith, strength, and courage, and a fearlessness that is installed within our hard drive. So it allows us to kind of be forceful in our creations, but not in such a forceful way, in a forceful manner, but be a force of your own nature. So allowing yourself to set your intentions into alignment with what your higher self is channeling through you and what your higher self is wanting you to delve into. But it's the exploration of oneself, of balancing its energies, its alignment, its truth, its understanding, and its wisdom. So understanding that the higher self kind of forces us to think, perceive, have will, have focus, have alignment, but also to align ourselves to our inspirations and not have hesitation, but to be dedicated towards something, allowing ourselves to follow something to the point where it doesn't change how we feel, but it changes the energy of what's around us. It allows us to be the manipulator of energy. It allows us to be an illusion of energy, but allows us to mass produce an illusion that is more in sync with the stimulation and the simultaneity that we're experiencing on this planet. So simultaneously, we're developing this sense of omnipresence. And if we develop that sense of omnipresence and truth and alignment and resonance within ourselves, that means we're connected to the motherboard of creation. So we have a projection board that we can project whatever we want onto the canvas, meaning that we can paint whatever we want onto the canvas, meaning that the canvas is our painting, it's our project, and it's not a finished product. So it's always under construction, but we're deconstructing what limits us and what puts false expectations and a false identification over who we are. So the higher self allows us to have direction. It allows us to have a moral compass, but allows us to not have a moral compass like most human beings think of that. It means that we can align here, we can align there, we can go any direction that we want, but it has to be of our choosing, and it has to feel like something is validated with that. It has to feel like something is real within the intention. It means that you're not going based by what your mind says or what your mom says or what anybody else says, but you're listening to the divine obedience of becoming God, manifested in human form. The Oracle of Loveline Wisdom, it means that there's a balancing in the density of your consciousness, meaning that there is a balance within how you channel your energy, how you bring in your energy, how you reinforce your energy, but the belief systems and the attachments that you have with what you want to become right now, meaning that the higher self does not make you less human, but the higher self actually makes you more human because you're blending the non-physical with the physical. So understanding this is that the higher self will allow you to channel exactly what you need in that moment. And you don't need to know all the details. That's how psychic information is interpreted, because the higher self allows us to intuitively investigate. Rather it's someone on the other side, or rather we're dealing with a murder investigation, or anything that comes into us, or something like dealing with their health and things of that nature. So the higher self allows us to intuitively investigate and receive the knowledge that is presently there, so that we're able to give the truth. That means we're looking for the truth, deciphering the message of that said truth, but seeing that we're being led by truth and we're not just saying a bunch of words, meaning that words have meaning and wisdom has meaning. And if we give it too much meaning, then we're not finding what the meaning really is and what's for us. So the higher self does not do things out of a hateful nature. It forces us out of certain patterns in our life. It forces us to not think so small about ourselves, or go into a certain life progression that we've been going and returning for thousands and thousands of years. So it allows us to really tap into the full embrace and the full acceptance of who we are at this moment in time. Meaning that we embrace ourselves, we accept ourselves, and we see everybody as the higher self, even if they don't know their higher self, even if they don't have an idea or a clue what their higher self is. It just means that you see everybody as that inseparability of that illusion, meaning that you allow yourself to channel that illusion, but it means that you're absolutely tapping into power. And when shit hits the fan, you don't lose it. You don't lose your will. You don't lose your freedom. You don't lose the intention. You don't lose the vibrancy inside of yourself, because you're the higher self, because you're God. It means that you're God manifested in human form. But it means that you're able to demonstrate that in many different situations, meaning that nothing seems like a challenge to you, meaning that the higher self's wisdom is here to nurture you and here to purify you, meaning that you're releasing so much stuck energy. You're releasing attachments. You're releasing deception. You're clearing so much out of your space so that you can have that acceptance of the higher self, because you're having spiritual mass, which is light within your being. The higher self generates a container and a filter. So it allows us to have a filter, meaning that belief systems are installed within ourselves. It means that the belief systems that we have are not coming from a negative nature. But it means that we have something installed inside of us that changes the polarity of positive and negative, which allows us to contain the knowledge that we need, but also have the ego that is purified, which is the filter, to allow us to exemplify that, but lead by example. But you're not based in your emotions because you don't react. You're more proactive to the way that you want to be in that moment. And when you're proactive with the way that the higher self wants to use you or wants you to release and tap into your soul, it means that you don't need to have all the information or all the answers at that moment in time. But it means that the higher self will give you the resonance, the knowledge, the understanding, the culmination of that, and the intention of that, and that breath of fresh air to give you the vocality to be able to project everything into awareness that needs to be there. So when you're channeling the higher self, you will notice that you don't speak the way you normally do. You don't demonstrate the way you normally do. You don't go about life the same way that you used to go about life. But it means that there's a culmination and there's an encapsulation of your energy. And this higher self wants you to really embrace who you are, meaning in your will, meaning in your power, meaning in your emotions, but also in the way that you are of service, meaning that you're putting everything else aside so that you can be of service, but you're still maintaining that respect of your enlightened awareness. Meaning that you don't lose respect for yourself, but you absolutely have respect for your free will, and you have respect for others, and you have a love and an admiration for human beings. But it means that you have transcended the human condition. It means you have crossed over into the realm of the beyond, meaning that's the realm beyond sight, beyond time, beyond space, beyond awareness and matter. That's where the psychic atomic energy, because it's autonomous. Autonomous knowledge means that you don't have to look for the source of information or have to study it for a week or have to meditate for 5 hours to find out that you are autonomous in your own nature. Meaning that the autonomous knowledge of the higher self allows you to channel from your own bandwidth of energy. Meaning that you're the motherboard of creation, but you allow yourself to have a healthy form of cognizance, of awareness, of truth in yourself, of truth in your life, because the higher self would never want you to feel in any way, shape, or form unvalidated or unequipped or powerless, because it's not based on unworthiness or conditioning or feeling like you're not unworthy. Hello, how are you? So the higher self is not trying to trick you. It's not trying to fuck with you. The higher self is for you and will move stuff out of the fucking way so that you are able to do the things that you want to do. So when you're channeling your higher self's wisdom, it means that you don't allow anything to get within the space of illusion, meaning that you are the illusion that you're assuming yourself to be, and you are the creation that you're projecting. Means that your intentions and what you do and whatever you do is the culmination of how you bring your will, your tenacity back within your space. It means you're reclaiming your power back into yourself. When you do that, when you reclaim your power back into yourself, then you don't feel disempowered. Then you don't have a bad day. Then you don't fall back into your same patterns and your same way of thinking. You don't go back into the same emotions, because you've transcended that, because the higher self balances your non-physical aspect with your physical aspect, meaning that you are embracing the non-physical and the physical, meaning you're embracing the human side and the psychology side of spirituality, but you're also embracing the other side where it is power, it is magic, it is alchemy within yourself that allows you to infuse that so that you can become God manifested in human form in this space-time continuum. Meaning that you are past, future, and present. You are simultaneous. You are omnipresent. meaning you are everywhere and you are parallel, meaning that you're parallel with everything that you want to bring within your creation, meaning that it's going to happen, it just hasn't happened yet. But the higher self offers reflection, wisdom, balance, love, and a way to feel free to get out of your own way. Just feel free to allow yourself to free yourself from what you're experiencing here and now. So it's kind of like if the higher self is telling you to do something that you've been putting off for so long, and then you finally do it, and it feels good when you do that step, that means that you were discounting your higher self or thinking that you know better than your higher self. And when we think that we know better than our higher self, then that doesn't allow us to really follow our truest desires and our wisdom within ourselves. It means that we're negating the creation, we're negating how we can really expand upon this moment. And that's negativity. When you have negativity within your space, then there's no way that the higher self can work with you. But also you have to clear a lot of energy within yourself to allow yourself to embrace the light and embrace the container and the filter that allows you to think and perceive past your ego. Ego can be narcissistic, ego can be boastful, ego can be very lust-oriented, meaning that there is none of that when the higher self has taken root within yourself, meaning that you don't seek validation, you don't seek validity, you don't have to seek justice or justification for something because you already have it, because you've already been set free, or else you wouldn't be channeling your higher self. Meaning, if you give it too much meaning in a human perspective, in a human conditioning, then the transcendence cannot be there and it cannot be pure within yourself. But when you think of it in a way that allows yourself to radiate with healing, radiate with understanding, with love and reception and acceptance, so that you can be delivered from something and not experience it ever again. So the higher self just doesn't want us to keep hitting our head against the wall or having so much frustration and suffering, because our higher self has always been with us before we awaken, meaning that it has initiated us through different relationships, different suffering, different childhood trauma. All of it was because your higher self had to line up everything and had to help you have those experiences, or else you would not appreciate those experiences. But there's an appreciation, there's something so cerebral in the way that we get through that understanding of how we used to be, how our past self used to be. But the past self has to be aligned with your higher self now, meaning that the lower energy and the higher energy have to balance out each other, meaning that there has to be a healthy balance of acknowledgement, accountability, and just owning it, owning your shit, and just really owning it. If you own yourself, if you summon who you are, if you allow yourself to align to that, you will have everything in life that you want. You'll have all the authority to do what you please, and you won't be based in consequences. The higher self does not base us in consequences. Now, when people hear that, they'll think that I'm saying to do something irresponsible. But that's actually not the thing to do. It means that you're not thinking of this hesitation or this like, oh, there's struggle. Oh, if I do this, then this will happen. Meaning that the consequence is not even presented because it's not a challenger. But our human mind is always, like Tony Robbins always says this, and I think it's very beautiful, is that our human mind is constantly comparing stuff, and it's looking for what's wrong. I'm not tall enough, I'm fat, or like this and that. But we have to bring focus to something else and have a healthy avoidance in order to bring our focus to the reception. Does that make sense? So meaning, we can't compare ourselves to others, to fantasies, but we can't really compare ourselves to anything because God is inseparable. God is everything. God is beautiful and wondrous in every type of configuration. So there's nothing to compare it to. So you don't have to compare yourself. Nobody's more special. That's the thing. Everybody is beautiful in their own right. Everybody's beautiful. It's just choosing to be that way and choosing to allow your higher self to make you more wisdom oriented, but it has a balance of maturation, meaning that there's a saturation and a transfiguration of the soul, meaning that you're balancing the energies and radiating from that light that you want to become in that moment. So there's this focus, there's this laser pointed focus. So there's this point where you get to the point where you choose to always follow the obedience of spirit. The higher self is the reflection of spirit. The higher self is the mirroring aspect of spirit. And some of your guys' higher self could be above you. My higher self used to do that a lot and was wondering, like, what are you doing? My higher self used to be above me and be like, what you doing, dude? Are you gonna tap in? Are you gonna receive? Meaning that the higher self is reflecting to you that with wisdom, with truth, with faith, with conviction and intention and simultaneity, that you can channel it right now. You just have to accept it. But also you have to be ready to accept it. I think you also have to be ready to accept the higher self, or else if you're not ready to accept it, then you can't use the higher self in the way that it's supposed to be used. Or the higher self will not take root inside of yourself. Because I've had the higher self when I needed to clear past lifetime progression, and then he was in the bushes. But he was allowing me to deal with it myself, but he was offering wisdom and service, but he wasn't babying me. Does that make sense? The higher self doesn't baby you. The higher self's like your brother, big brother, that kind of motivates you into not being, I guess, too sensitive, or like not pushing yourself outside of your comfort zone, or not being ready to initiate out of that. Meaning that it just kind of puts your feet to the carpet and makes you focus, makes you have will, makes you just kind of get out of your own way and get out of your own head so that you're able to do the things that you want to do. Meaning that you're puncturing a wall. And when you puncture that wall and you find that needle in the haystack and you're able to pull it out whenever you need to, it means that you always accept the reception, the challenges, the strength that comes with it. No matter what you're experiencing, no matter what you're going on and what's going on in your life, you embrace it. You can't run away from it. Now, if you do run away from it, you'll make it more difficult. And I've had a message that I received a long time ago that if I don't do the things that I'm going to do, the universe will, offer you reflections. So it's just kind of making you be more consistent in the way that you do things. It's offering consistency. It's offering purification. It's offering to really think about the things that you want to buy at the store. It's offering you to embrace your freedom and your willingness to be free in this moment. That's the higher self's wisdom at the end of the day. It's not being mean, but it's fair. Spirit's firm and fair. That's what I've understood about creation and tapping into your heart, tapping into your alignment, allowing the higher self to take root, because the only way that you're really going to tap into power, and it not be out of a sense of ego or a sense of vanity, because if someone has to be boastful in the way that they promote power, then they have to be a prima donna most of the time. And most of the time when I've seen people do that, when they've demonstrated overconfidence or they wanted to have their story out there, every time that happened, then they always stayed the same. They never changed. They never integrated. And someone can say, I'm on the path for 20 years, but it doesn't mean that they've actually integrated and actually applied it. Because some people are like, yeah, I'll take your wisdom and stuff like that, but then they don't actually apply it to their lives. And then they just go about in the way that they want to go about, and they never really go for it and reach their potential. But it's not reaching a potential of what I'm doing or what anybody else is doing. It's your waltz with the Creator, meaning that you're allowing the higher self to be more deeply connected to God, connected to Source, connected to ecstasy. And here recently, I noticed that more frequently I'm channeling the higher self, more frequently, more openly, more in that demonstrated way. meaning that it's not that I don't sense energy or that I don't have a human moment. The higher self is not helping you become less human. The higher self does not think that you're less human. It doesn't think you're stupid. It doesn't think you're lost. It doesn't think you're unworthy of anything. The higher self's like, if you feel that way, then ask more out of yourself. The higher self is always asking more out of you. It's not asking less out of yourself. It's asking more out of yourself. So every single day, just say that I will embody the higher self's wisdom, and I will allow it to guide me, and I will allow it to teach me whenever I need it to teach me. And I won't be bashful about it. I won't kind of like back off and like run away from it, because that will allow you to be delivered from anything. And no, Maya, I have no problem if you're reposting my videos. That's good. Thank you for doing that. And another thing that my higher self wanted me to tell you guys is that I'm not God Alpha Almighty. I am because you are, and you are because I am. So I don't want you to think I'm playing God, even though we are playing God, but in a different sense. I'm not Jesus Christ. But we all are Jesus Christ manifested in human form. But I'm not Jesus Christ. I'm just a guy in a blue t-shirt who likes to wear his hat backwards, and who likes to demonstrate wisdom and love and wants to give it every single day. And that's why I do what I do. If I did it for my own health, then I'd have a problem. But I don't do it for my own health, I promise you. I don't do that. I do it because I'm led to do it. I do it because I want to. And I do it because I love all of you. And I want to do this because it's been a part of my life. And the higher self has really been kicking me in the ass to do it more and more. And do it with more love and more vibrancy. And more wisdom and balance and love. So my guides are kicking around, and my higher self's kicking around if they want me to do healing energy or meditation. I think we're going to do activations in healing energy and also activating the higher self within yourself. So that was the whole point of this live, was the higher self's wisdom, and my higher self really wanted me to talk about how the higher self works, how it helps you become more of who you are, helps you be more grounded, helps you tap more into your divinity. And if I missed some of your comments, I didn't mean to. So, makes sense based on this timeline distractions. I love that. I love that. So, allow yourselves to get grounded, to get centered. And also, you guys can book private sessions with me. It's $50 for 1 hour, and an hour and 30 minutes for 100, 150 for 2-hour sessions. So, if you're coming into the live feed, we're going to do some healing energy, and we're going to tap into our higher selves. And we're also going to be connecting to some of my guides, but also we're going to connect to God Code as well. So we're going to accept our higher selves in this moment. So just say, I accept my higher self's wisdom. I accept my higher self to use me as a divine instrument. And I allow the higher self to take root within my soul, meaning I become the light of my soul. I become the purification of my soul. And I allow my soul to demonstrate the wisdom, the balance, and the love that it wants to channel through me. So therefore, we've accepted and activated the higher self within our being. And we also have Archangel Michael, Gabriel, Sandalphon, Raphael, Mother Mary, Saint Germain, Merlin coming in very strongly, helping us with purification, helping us use the wisdom of our guides, and also allowing our higher self and guides to give us aura cleansing to remove blockages, and to receive energetic downloads and codes and frequencies from different realms, different planes, and different universes, here and now. And we're going to tap into the healing energy of Jesus. And we're going to activate all the chakras as well. And we're going to tap into the Source Dragon to emulate the vibrations of God, the sensations of God, and manifesting illusion of Source. And we're going to tap into God Code, downloading the Merkaba, and Archangel Metatron's Cube for sacred geometry. Mary Magdalene is helping us with fertility, having a metamorphosis of the soul. Energies of making decisions and manifestations, making sure everything is parallel with oneself. Resetting the karmic imbalances as well. And there's being light codes being sent out to all of you, helping you with perceiving, helping you with thinking, helping you with acting on your desires as well. Some of you in here that are watching, 111-222-333-444 are your angelic numbers as well. Archangels of love and light, who is willing to cleanse us of our auric field, tapping into God's source energy and the great I am, diving deep into Middle Mother Gaia Earth, grounding into the earth, allowing ourselves to tap into psychic protection as well. Activating the senses as well. The sense of self, the sense of love, the sense of preservation as well. And just allow yourselves to give yourself to God, to allow God to use you as a divine instrument, and to allow Him to use you in any way that you can to be of love, to be of service, to be of peace. As this healing is coming to a close, when I snap my fingers, you'll come back to. You'll have a greater sense of clarity. You will know who you are, and you will become God manifested in the human form. And so it is. So that was the healing energy to connect with the higher self, to have aura cleansing, and it looks like it's going to rain here, so maybe that was perfect timing. But I wanted to really shout out to you guys and all the people who receive on my lives and all the people who like and watch them, and just really being connected to you guys and just hearing the readings that come in. And also, I wanted to let you guys know you guys can book private sessions with me. I do have a 1 hour special for $50. An hour and 30 minutes for 100, 150 for 2 hour sessions. Also, just letting you know that I'll be going live tonight around 10 or 11. I might make it earlier. I might do 8 and 9. So, but also guys, just know that the higher self is not here to like bully us. It's not here to put us in a category, put us in a box, or it's not there to make us feel less than. It's actually just there to push us through the thresholds of what we're not doing or what we're not purifying within ourselves. But also, it's just there to push us through the boundaries of limitation, of expectation, of being impoverished, you know. A lot of us are just transcending that in this reality. And it was so funny because, you know, when I first awakened and I watched one of the movies that I watched was Frequency with Jim Caviezel and Dennis Quaid, and him talking to his younger self, and you know, looking back at like my background, and you know, I lived in Pensacola and there was no spiritual background there. It was all Christianity, and I used to go to church and used to be Christian basically. And then to have the Intergalactic Council, like when it finally dawned on me that was like, oh, past, future, and present, and then the Intergalactic Council like clapped for me and kind of like let me know like, oh, he's getting it, you know. So every single day that happens, you know, like not only within myself, but whatever I experience, you know, something does dawn on me, clarity dawns on me. You know, we all, like, sometimes I get like information, or I'm just sitting on the back porch with my girlfriend and we just have this like crazy transcendental experience, you know, and I wouldn't trade it for a world. And the only thing that I would implore you guys is just to receive from Spirit in the best way that you can. You know, just receive from Spirit. Just allow your guides, your higher selves, to guide you. They're there to guide you. They're there to help. They're there to assist you. Allow the divine to assist you and move on your behalf. Sometimes it's not about being forceful in doing it and overdoing it and being too deliberate in the way that we're manifesting and creating with our lives. But it really just means like allowing the divine to work on your behalf. That's the purification. That's the river of source. It's about the river of source. It's about the river. That's what it's about. It's about the glory of source and allowing that to be on your life and knowing that the grace can be on your life. And it's just kind of to the degree of like understanding yourselves, you know, understanding who you are. And I don't know why I'm doing this, but my guys want me to do it. So, I have this bell here. And this was $5, this bell right here. What this does is help you just kind of have that ringing in your ears that you kind of do normally. And my higher self was just like, tell them about this bell. Like, this is good for clearing energy, and this is good just to kind of get that ringing in your ears and that reception. But also what that kind of allows you to do is kind of allows you to get into your state. Because some of you maybe have trouble meditation, and if you're having trouble with meditation, this could be a good way to help you get into that. So it's kind of like a gong. I don't know why my guides wanted me to do that. They just wanted me to. And I think the thing is that we're all different. We're all divine. We're all trying to do the best that we can do in this reality. And one of the things that my higher self wanted me to really implore and say to you guys is humanity needs healing. Humanity needs wisdom. Humanity needs like-minded hearts and souls to guide them. Allow the power of source to move through you and move through your life and move through your heart and your soul so that you're able to give that to another person, impart that to another person. Just be of love, just be of source, and just have transcendent existences. I see some previous clients and people I've read here. Sometimes when I'm, doing my gifting, sometimes when I'm on here, I miss your guys' comments, so I don't mean to. I'm actually going to take the time out and read some of your guys' comments. Because sometimes, you guys ask questions and things of that nature. Yes, if you're ringing, it means you're connected. Yeah, I have so many clients that tell me about the ringing in their ears, and they're like, do I have a hearing problem? Do I have something wrong with me? Is something going on with me? I had people, when people say like, is there something wrong with me? I don't think anything is wrong with anybody. I just think we're clearing stuff and healing. Because when we're dwelling within right or wrong, we're dwelling within like justification. So one of the last things I'm going to say here, and I'm going to get off, is that you don't have to justify who you are, and you don't have to explain to anybody or society or who you are, because you get to do your guys' giftings on this live. And also you get to do them in your own life. So you don't have to justify who you are. Be yourself authentically, and just don't give a fuck what you do with your gifting. Don't give a fuck. Do you. At the end of the day, do you. That's what's important. So, I want to thank you guys. God bless. Thank you guys so much for being a part of live, enjoying the healing energy. Book private sessions. I have a $50 special for 1 hour, 2 hours. 1 hour and 30 minutes for 100, 150 for 2 hours. Also, I'm going live tonight around 8 or 9 o'clock, 10 or 11. That's the time point, PM Eastern. Also, text me on TikTok and email me, whitewolftheoracle, and on YouTube, and I'm forgetting my BitChute. I forgot it. So Feel free to do that. But thank you guys. God bless and namaste.